When you're ready.
Hey guys, Dr. Erin here at Focus TV Network in West Hollywood, and I am honored and privileged to have the beautiful, gorgeous Liz Lira in the house. Hi, sweetheart. How are you?
Hi, my dear. I'm doing great.
Oh, I'm so excited. So if anyone does not already know who Liz Lira is, she is a 25-time world champion salsa dancer. And not only that, but she is a dear friend of mine, an incredible woman inside and out, gorgeous inside and out. So I'm so glad you're back. You just got back to LA like 2 weeks ago, right?
Yes, I was blessed again to go to Thailand and be an adjudicator and teach and share the love of dance and training dancers all over the world.
How lovely. In Thailand,
Quite
I've never been
fun.
there. We went to Bali, like, what was that, 2-3 years ago now?
Yes,
Like,
it was quite beautiful.
No, it's been like 4 years ago, right?
Very spontaneous.
It was spontaneous.
Very spontaneous.
Had a
I
great
said,
time.
Erin, I'm going, you should come.
Right, that's how it happens.
Booked
Bam,
her
like
flight,
that.
and we were there in a blink of an eye.
Say yes to new adventures. It's my mantra.
Absolutely positive ones.
For sure. So my intention of having you here on the show today is because one, you have one of the best attitudes I've ever met in a woman, and I also want to hear more about your story. I know a little bit about it, but I want to hear, like, what was your story to getting to salsa dancing?
From childhood?
Yeah, from childhood. Like, how did you get into salsa dancing?
Well, I was born in La Paz, Bolivia, and in La Paz, Bolivia, we're born with the music called tropical music, and you have the cumbia, the merengue, and then we have tango, Argentine tango, because Argentina is right next to us. And I just remember growing up with music, very family oriented, a lot of parties, a lot of festivities, so we were always dancing. So coming to America, though, I was blessed to join a nonprofit ballet school called St. Joseph Ballet, and at the age of 6 and a half, I auditioned, by the way. Apparently I had to audition to enter this nonprofit inner city program for kids, and it changed my life because it was all sponsored.
Wow. So you knew, when was the moment when you said, oh wow, this is going to be my life, dancing?
I think I always been in ballet and training in classical dance for such a long time that you kind of have this mindset of, oh, I want to be a prima ballerina, and you just kind of think like that's the next dream or the goal and so on. So I grew up, in this belief, shortly to be awakened by reality because my family's immigration status was still being sorted out. So when I actually got to audition for the New York City Ballet, and I didn't have a Social Security, I couldn't go.
Oh, wow.
So I actually quit dance.
You quit dance?
Quit
Dance. Oh, wow.
Yes, I quit dance. So I felt it was a sign in my life, turning point, that it was not meant to be for me. And coming from immigrant roots and all the struggles that come with that, I felt maybe it's also not the smartest choice. So I just thought, I'll just go to school and become a lawyer and
give up on my dreams.
Minor in
thing,
history. Do the right thing. And although I was fortunate, my parents always supported my choices. So they weren't kind of like, you better go to school, and they were more about what makes you happy and we'll support you.
So then what was the point where you're like, wait, this is actually my dream? Was it like, was there a moment?
I met a boy.
Oh, that happens. It's a good thing that bad happens out of that.
I met a boy at this one club called JC Fandango. That's like the first club I was ever able to go. I grew up attached to my mother's hip growing up till I was like 20. So I really didn't know I was very naive. So I didn't know about relationships. I was just so like innocent, which is a beautiful thing, but not in the real world. So I met this boy who basically at this club says, oh, I'm looking for a salsa partner to practice my moves on. And of course, to me, that's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm like, what does that mean? But okay, I couldn't comprehend it because I didn't know what salsa was. I didn't know. I'm like, I grew up with salsa. I know what salsa is. dancing, right? My culture, come on, you know, like, what are you talking about? You have to practice moves, right? So I didn't know about the actual salsa world here in America.
Interesting. Yeah, people actually do rudiments. They do like a practice. You're like, I just dance. I just
We
like,
just
you know,
danced, right? And
party of
partied at the
life.
house. So, but he was cute, you know, a handsome guy. And I thought, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. And I just kind of took it as a pickup line. And I gave him my number, and sure enough, he picked me up and took me
And the rest,
to practice his moves on me.
and the rest was history. The rest is
The rest
history.
was
You had this
history.
is working. I like
So,
this life. Got a little.
He
sexy.
wanted to be the teacher world champion and traveler.
Oh.
Actually, that was his goal. And he was just literally like working towards that. But he can tell from afar I was a dancer, so he liked that I can learn quick and I can turn,
Right.
whatever. So he got me into like this world called
Fascinating.
salsa. And then 3 months later, I met this professional dancer, Alex Da Silva, and then we won this professional championship. I totally did not know what was happening, but I think it's about destiny. And when destiny, when you're meant to do something, you can't escape from it. Because I tried to, right? I quit dance. I was full
Right.
on, you know.
Right. Oh my gosh.
And I wasn't happy, of course.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's such an incredible story because I know that you had to persevere through many, many things, and we actually have to take a break. But when we come back, what I want to know and what I'm dying to have you, you know, give us some tips. Give us kind of that moment when you have a day that's hard. What do you do to get your mind right to just keep fulfilling upon that dream, knowing that it's not always easy, right? So when we come back, I want to hear from Liz Lira, her tips on how to get your mind right, your attitude right, so that you can really live out your dreams like she has. So stay tuned, you guys. We'll be right back. Dr. Erin here, Doctor of Divinity, teaching universal laws and spiritual truth, and I am thrilled to announce the new show on Focus Television right here in West Hollywood, Los Angeles, California. Join us weekly as I interview incredible people, celebrities to your next door neighbor, you name it, your girlfriend. We're going to dive into such topics as love and relationships, health and vitality, business and money, and creative expression. And I'm thrilled to just go on this awakening journey with you as we tap into meditation, visioning processes, intuition, and all the above. So stay tuned as we do this together. Hi there, I hope that you're enjoying this great conversation. I'm here at Focus TV Network in West Hollywood, America's first streaming video talk network. And I want to hear your story. We would like to showcase your story about consciousness, awakening, and spirituality. So you can reach out to me at below. You'll see right here my email and all of our contact information. We want you. Now back to the show. Hey guys, we're back here with Liz Lira, 25-time world salsa champion dancer, dear friend of mine, and she's going to give us kind of the hacks, the tips, what she does when she's having a hard day. How do you get your mind straight? How do you keep going when you're like your body's broken sometimes, you don't want to do it anymore, I'm sure. Like, what do you do?
Well, the first thing is the pursuit of happiness, and you have to make a choice. I think that's the one thing no one can take away from you, is the privilege that you are your own self, you are the master of yourself, and you can control and decide, you know, what choices you're going to make. And once I realized that, I said, hey, wait a second, this is my life and I'm the master of my life, and I can make certain choices for myself.
So true.
And not allow the exterior really affect me or change me for the negative.
So true.
So I really kind of stuck to that, and also the idea of believing that anything is possible. So sometimes people are very skeptical, like, oh yeah, but that might not work, or oh, maybe it's not gonna go as I think, you know. And so there's always this doubt.
So much doubt.
Much doubt.
You're preaching my whole thing. It's all commitment. It's all decision. All the rest is details, how we do it, and the tips and hacks, and there's other things. But I couldn't agree with you more. Bottom line comes down to belief. Bottom line comes down to that commitment of knowing you're worth it. So what do you do? Like, what hacks, what secrets do you do? Like, for instance, I just know I have to work out. I've got to eat well. I've got to sleep well. I've got to hang around with good girlfriends. I've got to do all those things. Do you have any like little secret hacks that you do for just getting in a great mood?
I think I just check myself. Like if I'm looking at myself in the mirror, anything that comes up, I'm always thinking, it's like shopping, for example, or drugs or alcohol. I always think, do I need this? So in that moment, I always kind of check myself, and it's helped me a lot actually, to look at something and realize, do I need this? And be like, nope, I don't need it, and I let go, Whereas some people, I think, are very impulsive, and they don't take the moment to think like how it's going to impact their lives.
So true.
Including people, right? So even people I meet, I'm like, well, I love having great friends, but it's so hard to find really good ones, that kind of think a certain way or have this positive attitude and so on. And although I embrace everybody, but I'm just saying to let them in, friends, like really let them in.
Well, you were a no-brainer for me friendship-wise, because I remember when I had to do that with a mentor, they said, focus your life down to like the things that are really important to you. So for me, it was my spiritual work. It was my family. It was dance, and it was travel. Like those were my primary things. And so when I met you and I was like, oh my gosh, not only is she in one of my primary things that's so important to me in my life, but for me, it's a must with my girlfriends that they've got to be up, they've got to be positive, and they've got to be up to something in their life. Like for me to really have them as my dear friends. And you were so special to me, such an amazing woman, and even such an inspiration. So I'm curious to know.
And then.
Oh, sorry, you're going on. Sorry, she's going on, cutting her off.
And no, it's all good. Yeah. And then I admire you so much too, and it's just a blessing also to be here and share this moment with you. But also, I've always kept telling myself about kindness and how kindness can go a long way with everyone, right? So I think that comes from, me also having known pain and suffering, and believe it or not, I think some people never really experience that sometimes because they're so spoiled. They don't even realize, what it is to work hard, or what it is to sacrifice, or what it is to have people treat you not so kindly, right? So I always reflect on myself, because at the end of the day, people say, what do you want to be remembered by? Right? Sure, it's maybe something you've done, something you've established, or so on. But I think for me, it's like life is so short, really, in reality, that I kind of just want to be loved by my friends. And whether they're acquaintances, students, my really closest friends, but for them to be inspired by me to be better.
Yeah.
Right?
You do that.
Yeah,
You're
it's
one
like
of the kindest people.
super important. And even like from, a stranger, and sometimes people will be, they'll like honk you and they'll tell you off while they're driving, in the freeway. And I just smile and I'm like, I'm sorry.
I can't see you getting mad.
I'm like, I kind of smile. That's my first reaction. And I'm like, I'm sorry, and even though they're just crazy, I'm like thinking, wow, they're probably just having a really bad day. And I can't let it affect me, because I'm just trying to be a decent driver in the street, right? Like people are going crazy. And I've had people come out of their car and yell at me because I parked in a parking spot. And I'm like, you were waiting for that? Well, I didn't know. And it becomes this whole thing, right? And I'm like, wow, are people that like just so like intense? It's just so intense. I just can't even believe, someone would get out of the car and start screaming for a parking spot. Yeah. I'm kind of like, and I mean, I'm just like, oh, I'm so sorry. And
well, also they're probably not fulfilling their dreams, so they're frustrated, right? So fulfilling your dreams, as you know, is so important. So I always think someone that gets out of their car and screams, I go, oh my gosh, imagine how frustrated they are in their life. Right?
And what really transformed, the last thing I'll mention about this kind of, secrets or things that kind of, it helped me stay a certain path, is once I chose to have my career as a dancer, and knowing that, well, anything is a risk, really. I mean, you become a lawyer, become an attorney, that's still a risk, you know? So no matter how successful a career can be for you, the beginning stages are always going to be, you know, rough. They're always going to be working progress. But for me, I said, you know, I believe in myself first and foremost. So that's the other thing, is that I just believe in myself, that as long as I'm good to myself, like my health, my well-being, the people around me, and that I'm good with everyone else, like I'm just being a good person and not like trying to take advantage of people or playing games or being all weird like that, you know?
It's so basic, but yet it's profound, and that's the way I see you living your life. I mean, you can be anywhere in the world, and yet when you're at an intimate party with just people in your studio, like, you're so present, you're not too good for it, you're you're kind to everybody.
And what helped me really take that leap, because I think a lot of people struggle in knowing, okay, so this is not for me, and I'm not happy here, but they just don't know how to take that grace. Why? It's because they're scared of failure, like we all are, right? Maybe they just don't believe in themselves as much as they could to their full potential. Or maybe they just are complacent and just kind of settle with that, which is so sad.
I know. Yeah, we have to take a break again. I'm so like, all these. I mean, it's just the profound. It's really it's the whole basis of everything. And I know you live on principle like that for sure. So when we come back, I actually want to get into a little fun game real quick. Just some deeper questions and some kind of sillier questions real quick. Okay.
Sounds good.
Because I wish we had all day long. I want to hear every ounce of your question.
Forever.
I know, but so stay tuned as we dive deep into. I want to find out what her darkest hour has been. And a few fun things we'll find out. Come back in 1 second. Stay tuned, you guys. And we are back for a final little discussion here with Liz Lira on life, her journey to becoming a world champion salsa dancer. And so I have a few kind of different questions real quick. I want to know, what was your darkest, have you had a dark, like the darkest hour that you went through in your life? What was that?
Yeah, absolutely. It was the darkest yet the most transformative. Something that really made me like a superwoman, kind of, and it really was when, I was dating someone, and we were young, and this person was super young, vibrant, educated, and I mean, the future ahead was just bright. But then he got hit by a platoon boat and passed away. Wow. And just you don't see that coming. You don't see you're here enjoying yourself, you're seeing this person, they're healthy, they're getting an education, and he lived to the fullest. Like, he would travel, he would give me random gifts, and just, he knew my family thought the world of him, and we were dating, but it was young, and we were young, right? And but for me, why I'm saying that was so significant, and it impacted me very much, because you just don't expect someone you care about to just kind of disappear, and somehow their life is not here anymore, and you're thinking, what happened, you know? And but I remember that during that time in my life, I was like super workaholic, killing myself, perhaps not grateful for the things I had and the people in my life. You know, I felt that, and I saw that later though, after, because I was so blinded by desiring things, you know, like monetary, you know, making money and at any cost, including not even have time for myself to like have a day off, you know. It's like, who does that, right?
Yeah.
So for a couple of years I was like this total structure, like calendar, like everything had to be executed a certain way or else I would get upset with myself and perhaps people around me, because things weren't, you know, perfect, right? Whatever perfect is, right? So when that happened, that kind of put a whole like stop and a pause into my whole, what I was thinking in my mind, like how I was living, and into like a full-on like fast-paced lifestyle, right? Where I was compromising so many things. And then when he passed away, I felt like, oh my God, like, wow, like we don't have, I mean, anything can happen and life is way too short for me to put myself through this. Like, what am I trying to prove here? My health, you know, I was tired. I look tired, I'm sure. I mean, people tell me now from back then that knew me, you know, like 10 years ago, they say I look younger than at that time. Wow. They like, you look so much younger. What are you doing? You look better. And apparently, I think it's because I was stressing myself out and trying to push, trying to make things happen, whatever. But then you compromise yourself, you compromise the quality of your life, your health, and the people around you. And so, I mean, that was a really suffering time. It took me about 4 to 5 years to heal from that. Because it just came so.
Of course, the darkest hour, the darkest things become the greatest blessings. And I think that's why I asked that question, because I think people may look at you and they think, oh, well, you know, she's just always been this light. She's always had it great. And I realized that after interviewing so many people, that it's the darkest hour that becomes some of our greatest blessings. And I just want to say thank you for sharing that with us here.
Of course.
And I just know that, you know, it all happens for a reason, as you know. So who has been your greatest mentor?
My greatest mentor, I mean, most people would say maybe someone who's rich or has companies and corporations, but I really, you know, take a lot from my mother. You know, she's been through a lot. Like, I mean, I think I totally admire moms, by the way.
Mom, we love
I'm
you.
not a mom. Erin's a mom. I'm like bowed down to mommies, no matter what circumstance or what situation. I think probably that's the hardest job in the world.
Right.
I'm not a mom, but I kind of just think this. But my mom, you know, she's persevered for the sake of our family, and I just like commend that so much. Like, she stuck with my dad, and they stuck together through, you know, living a life that they were secure, that they know, in like La Paz, Bolivia, and just literally just leaving all of that and come to a whole new world,
so courageous,
new country with, you know, a young child. You know, I was, I think, 6 at the time, and before we came, actually, my father was here before us. Studying at a college here, but my mom actually had like lost a baby, you know, that died in her stomach at 8 months. So, you know,
I know it well.
So my mom has kind of gone through like these trials and tribulations, and I feel like, gosh, in comparison, my life is like pretty decent here. You know, that I don't have to face those kind of obstacles because they've sacrificed so much for me.
Oh,
so much suffering. There's, you know, I think to suffer is good.
in some weird way.
It's in a weird way, you know. It's like, it's okay to be vulnerable. And through my mother and through that boyfriend that passed away, that combination of perseverance and being honest. And I think that's something that when you're young, it's kind of hard to accept who you are, because you want to present yourself to the world that, you know, you're kind of perfect and you have this and you have that and whatever. But I realized that, I don't need much to be happy, Okay, so how does she get happy, right? I'm like, well, I don't need a lot for that. I've learned, because we meet a lot of people. I've met a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to see things, and experience things of people of poverty to middle class to wealth and all of this. And I think it's not about any of that. I think it's more about your mindset and who you want to be yourself. And so for me, being honest is so key. So I really work hard, even though it's so hard to do, to like communicate. So just be like,
Completely.
Erin,
Aw.
you said this, and
I
I didn't.
know.
I
So
feel
true,
comfortable
right?
about that, and actually, like, well, that's what true friends are. I mean,
Right.
even though you and I don't think we've had that, that's great.
Yeah, we're never like, we need to talk.
We haven't had that, like we
Right,
need to
right,
talk.
right.
But I know,
Oh
like,
my
in
gosh.
relationships,
I know.
that's so key,
It's
and
so key.
I've had
And-
to learn that.
And you have so much advice, so much. I mean, this woman is a wealth of wisdom, gorgeousness, incredible. Unfortunately, we have to wrap up, but I'm just, I want to know, where can people find you? Where can they get involved? And so I know Liz Lira Academy, lizlira.com.
Yes.
You have a studio right now in
3500 Overland
okay,
Avenue in
which
Los
is-
Angeles.
What's that little city area?
It's like
called?
Culver City,
Culver
West
City,
Side.
yeah, And then just check her out. Follow her on social media. It's great. She's always having positive events, salsa events, women styling events, women empowering events, and all that kind of stuff. So anything else that
I
where
just
they can
want to
find
say,
you?
guys, choose to be good.
That's right.
Choose to give and share, and choose to be happy for yourself first. Like, love yourself, right?
Yeah.
Love yourself. Be happy for yourself, and everything kind of will flourish from there.
It all does. So,
And thank you for
wisdom,
having me. I
Yes,
love you.
I love you so much. Thank you so much for making my life rich, rich, rich. You guys check her out. Have a great day. Check out Focus TV Network. Share this with a friend. Get involved. This is all about community talk show in the sense of awakening people to their greatness. So have a great day, you guys, and may you live your truth.
Woo!
Woo!